Sadly, it is in our hometowns. It is in our backyard here. It is immense this morning as the sun is now up and the crews are out assessing it. This is a live look there in Springfield where people are that nobody's stuck in any of the debris or rubble or wreckage from homes that have been just literally wiped right off their foundation. And B, trying to get these areas cleared so that business and life can get back to some semblance of being normal. Our crews are fanned out across the state, and what's incredible is some of the eyewitness accounts that we are hearing. And when you go downtown, it's basically just the officials who were there because it's not safe for people to be roaming. But then as you go to Munson there, you see a lot of homeowners sitting on their porches, scratching their heads. And our John Atwater, who's been on the scene there, saying you hear a lot of chainsaws. That's the sound there in the more residential areas where they're trying to pick up some of the debris that is just littering roads there and making simply a lot of roads impassable this morning. This is amazing video, and I'm watching JC and David's expressions as we're watching it. It's not often that you get to see a twister actually in the formation process like this. This was just incredible. This was a touchdown in Springfield as it started right over the river and moved across a railroad bridge. Here's what we know right now at 7:50 Thursday morning. We know that 7 tornado touchdowns have been confirmed, but again, we don't know if it was 1 tornado or 2 tornadoes. And JC, you said it's really going to be the work of those National Weather Service crews that are out assessing what we saw and also the impact, the strength of it.
Absolutely. The trained teams that are out there are expected to come back with information by late afternoon or early evening. They'll be looking at the damage patterns, and they'll also be assessing where the tornadoes rank on the enhanced Fujita scale, from EF0, the weakest tornadoes, up to an EF5. And they have a general idea of what kind of damage each level can do. For example, an EF0, just a couple of broken branches, some small trees down. I think we're going to land somewhere around an EF3 based on the fact that severe damage comes with an EF3. Roofs are torn off, walls as well. You go to an EF4, that's devastating damage. Could we be there? That's going to be up to the National Weather Service as well. EF2 is considerable damage. Perhaps one of the tornadoes will come in that rank. So somewhere between 2 and 4, I think, is what you'll find these are assessed at, and we will find out the information later on today. A couple of showers up into Maine. That's with just a weak trough reinforcing the cool air that is coming in. So cool, dry air to replace the heat and humidity we had yesterday. The dew points have already fallen. They're still up a little bit in the outer Cape and the islands, and those are going down. So any fog you have in places like Chatham and Nantucket will be thinning. The temperatures right now are in the 60s, and our highs will only be upper 60s north and west of Boston, maybe some low 70s south of Boston. Even with the abundance of sunshine, the air mass has changed so much that it is much cooler, and we stay in this cool, dry pattern right into the weekend. Plenty of time for folks to do the cleaning up that needs to be done in the days ahead. Guys?
Yeah, now with the light of day, we can really see the devastation. And again, we have extended eye-opener coverage for you right now as we continue to stay on so we can show you some of the images that are happening and unfolding in the communities around us. This is Springfield, downtown. National Guardsmen, police, and FEMA crews also there on the ground trying to make sure that, again, people are safe and trying to assess what needs to be done. And our coverage continues in just a moment. It is 7:52 on this Thursday morning. Sunny and 65 degrees out. A nice respite from what everyone was dealing with just about 12 hours ago.
When someone decides to change the color in their home, it's a daunting decision.
Everyone wants their home to be special. We're able to help them achieve that goal, providing products and colors that make their home a place of inspiration.
We're going to make sure they go home with all the right tools and the right color to get it done right the first time.
The perfect colors, superior knowledge, and personal service. Only at your Benjamin Moore retailer, not the big box stores. Learn more from the experts at facebook.com/Benjamin Moore Paints.
As you can see, at Blinds To Go, we have our own factory.
So the customer buys direct, and we pass the savings along.
Thanks, Antoine.
And the selection is second to none. Wood blinds, cellular shades, fabrics from around the world.
And we insist on the lowest prices.
Thanks again, Antoine.
Delivery time is just 48 hours at most locations.
So why shop anywhere else?
You have to have the last word, don't you?
You got it.
The time to save is now. For a limited time, save up to 45% on select styles.
physical Game 1. Miami's relentless defense. And the Big Three's offensive output were the difference as LeBron James led the way in a huge win.
There's the exclamation point.
Now, Dirk and the Mavs look to take home court advantage away with a much-needed victory on the road. The NBA Finals, Mavericks Heat, Game 2. Coverage begins tonight at 8:30 on ABC.
We're on the other side now of yesterday's just devastating storms, and for many people in communities like Springfield and Brimfield, it was just like something straight out of a disaster movie, with twisters touching down in many communities and leaving violent destruction.
And simply no warning for so many people. Just moments ago, the governor was appearing on Good Morning America. He said he feels fortunate the death toll wasn't higher, considering how quickly these tornadoes formed. And we want to get out to John Atwater, who's been in one of the hardest hit communities all morning long for us. John, you were there before the sun was up in Munson, speaking with so many people there, and give us some of their thoughts right now as they're waking up to the damage.
Well, now it's becoming also clear to them, Bianca, and I actually have two people with me, two residents, everyone in this town affected, Rich and Lori. And Rich, we're standing in front of the house you grew up in. It's just in the back there. It's sort of blocked by the trees. But what are you thinking when you look back?
I'm shaken. I can't believe it. I lived in that house for over 30 years, and I've never seen or imagined anything like this before.
Tell me where you were yesterday when this tornado came.
I live right down on Main Street, and we were right on the edge, it turns out, of the tornado. And I saw the sky go green, and I grabbed her and my dog, and we went right down in the cellar. And I peeked out the cellar door as it was going through. It sounded like a freight train. I'd never heard anything like it in my life. And I could see trees flopping in the driveway on both sides of us. And I looked out the door after I knew it was gone, and I saw it go right up over the hill. Just an incredible sight.
And Lori, you were down there in the cellar also, and you told me you were hanging on for
dear life. Scared me to death. I'd never been so scared in my life. And even today, I'm still shaking. Just seeing all the devastation is really bad.
And you were grasping a pole down there in the cellar?
A pole in the cellar, yes.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even leave it.
A big old Victorian, and it's very well built, so we were pretty safe in the cellar.
Tell me what you guys have seen this morning.
Well, we came up after the tornado, and I saw the church gone, and I couldn't believe it. But I didn't realize how far up the damage went, because there was burning wires and everything. So we were just trying to get out of the way after we found out just how bad it was.
Trees in the road, you couldn't pass anywhere. And the lines were on fire in the road too. It was bad. You couldn't get anywhere.
By the time we came up here, that's when we realized that we were on the edge of the storm, not right in the middle of it.
And Lori, when I just met you a few minutes ago, I saw a tear in your eye.
Yeah, that's why I'm wearing my glasses.
Tell me how this is affecting you and everyone in town.
It's bad because it's just like so much of it is actually gone. And I mean, just trees alone. Look, the mountain is gone. There's nothing left. The houses. We even saw cars tipped over down there. Yeah. So it was strong enough to do all that. Yeah. So.
And you guys have lived here for so long.
Yeah.
The landscape is dramatically altered. It's never going to be like it was.
It'll never be the same up here.
No.
That's for sure. No.
So what are your plans today? I know you're probably getting asked this question so much. You're going around kind of in a daze, but what do you do next?
Well, I've got friends in town that I haven't contacted yet, and I want to check up on them. That's the main thing. And I've contacted all my family, and everybody was okay. But I do have a few friends that I haven't heard from and haven't seen, so I want to try and get in contact with them.
And how difficult? The power's not on here?
Well, we're going to borrow a generator from my brother. He's in Brimfield. And they even got touched, too, as well, but not like this. So he'll lose everything in his refrigerator and everything else unless we get one down there.
That's the least of my worries at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, it's part of it.
Thank God you emerged alive and unharmed.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Well, Rich, Lori, thank you very much. I know that you are surveying the town right now. Appreciate your time. Okay. Thanks a lot. They are one of so many people now in Munson just walking around. People are out as the sun emerges. In the background, we can hear the chainsaws going just up the hill here. The houses here, relatively minor damage. I mean, they have holes in the roofs, but they're still standing. But you can see all of the trees. I mean, they really just look like toothpicks as the tornado swept through here. All of the leaves, many of the branches off. But right now, traffic difficult to get through this town because you have work crews here. What they're doing is chopping up all these trees with chainsaws and then mulching them, trying to get traffic through. But it's going to be a long time until they get power restored here in Munson.
John Atwater bringing us some of those heartbreaking stories there of people. And you know, the third largest city in the Commonwealth, Springfield, right now has about 1,000 National Guardsmen there patrolling the streets to figure out exactly where the most damaged areas are.
And Mary Saladna is there, and she's been watching everything develop this morning. Mary, I know a lot of folks are starting to come out and see for themselves. How dangerous is the situation there, though?
Right, and you know, as they assess the damage, we're hearing the storm stories from yesterday. We have with us Brittany Taylor, who's a veterinary technician down here at the animal shelter down the street here in Union Street. And tell me, you were parked right here, like at the light?
I was probably, if you can see that white sign, I was probably fourth or fifth car back from right here, headed home for the day. And I mean,
the tornado started roaring through.
It came through and it happened so fast. I mean, the sky was blue. It looked just like a normal storm brewing, and then all of a sudden you could see the trees were bent over in half, and all the debris, all the leaves, paper in the street just rose up in the air and started swirling. And then the wind, it felt like the air just got sucked right out of my car, and I knew that something was about to hit. So I threw my car into park and I dove onto the floor of my car, and the glass in my car just exploded over me. And it was over just as fast as it came up. And it was incredible. It was so sudden. I mean, you really had no time to do anything other than just get down and get to cover.
I was going to say, you're sort of trapped there. Where can you go at that point? It's just too late to run or to move. So, I mean, did you sleep last night? I mean, you had to be really shaken by this.
I didn't sleep all that well. I think I went through the entire day over and over again in my sleep, and was there anything more I could have done? I mean, I had heard on the radio, try and take cover, and I thought about turning my car around and getting back into my building, which is very structurally sound, but I didn't have any time at all.
No. And your car was totaled?
My car was totaled. I was okay. My car took a pretty bad hit. There was heavy debris flying around. There's major dents all over my car. My windows are blown out. There's glass. I mean, the back of my car is what took the worst hit. So.
And what do you think as you walk through here today down here on Main Street?
It's surreal. I mean, this is like what you would see in the movies. I can't believe it would happen here.
And amazingly, the animal shelter was pretty much unscathed. A little bit of damage, but it's standing.
It's standing. It's a pretty solid building, so I think we're all very, very lucky.
And you're taking in animals today who need a shelter.
We will. That's what we do. So.
Very good. Thank you so much, Brittany Taylor.
Thank you.
Be well. Good luck to you. Stay safe. Watch where you walk, as you know. And so there you go. Just, you know, I mean, someone describing their first tornado, hopefully their last, but it's scary. Scary stuff. And they survived it. Her car is totaled, but she's okay.
Scary stuff. Obviously, we saw that tornado first in the Westfield area, then crest up and over the Springfield, and then eventually landing into Sturbridge. We have some video of this. And I also want to bring you back, Mary, because you and your photographer, your photojournalist, you got this video right after the tornado blew through Sturbridge, and you actually had to seek shelter. Is that correct, Mary?
You know what? We were there we were on Route 20, which right where it parallels the Pike, and we were shooting the days in there in Sturbridge, David. We were showing, you know, trying to capture the damage there because they had just taken almost a direct hit.
Yeah, that's what we're watching.
You know, tremendous damage.
Yeah, we're looking
tremendous damage.
Yeah, we're looking at the days in. We're seeing the toppled trees that you saw. You had to seek shelter,
and just sheared off. Well, yeah, so then we're standing there, and all of a sudden, you know, a cop comes through, a state police officer, a trooper, and he says, hey, you know what I mean, this ain't over. Look behind you. We look over the Pike, and he said, we just had a confirmed tornado, another one touched down in Palmer. It's headed this way, and the skies were, you know, darkening, and next thing you know, we saw things start swirling around and coming right at us. I mean, we just, you know, having never really experienced a tornado firsthand,